Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 95, the Switch presentation. I'm Go Pack Go, Travis Snail. I'm joined by...
Switch it off, Taylor Field.
Wow.
I am the unable to pre-order Jessica, because why do you do that? Like, honestly.
I'm the switch it up, Dylan.
Let's get right into it. We've been talking about this since the inception of this podcast, even before we've been talking about what they're going to do after Wii U, where's Nintendo going, blah, blah, blah. Dylan, I'll start with you. Just overall of the conference, or whatever. I'm calling it conference, presentation. The experience, what do you think? And then we're going to get into, we'll break down price, we'll break down some games, but overall, what do you think coming out of this? Did this make you want to buy a Switch?
I was incredibly disappointed, and I was surprised at how bad it was. Like from the presentation standpoint, like, the narrator was literally laughing at some points just because of, like, how bad he was at his job.
I don't know if that was me. What if they hired a guy behind him and be like, we're going to test him, and he's, like, doing all this funny stuff?
It made no sense, because for the first, like, three... segments with narrators, they had like Bill Trinan do like one part, and it was perfect because he's Bill Trinan and he's a professional. And then they had some other guy who was good, and then they brought in this other guy, and he was very monotone, and like his voice was just very unenthused. Like, you could not be less excited about the Switch. And then like there was one guy talking, he was trying to translate it, and like he just couldn't. I guess, I don't know. And then it was a joke. Like, the presentation was like really slow and clunky and pretty bad. And then, I mean, we're going to go into the games one by one, but very disappointing. There was only one game that blew all of us away, and then there's a couple other, like, you know, a couple of us thought was all right, but overall that was very, very disappointing. Jessica, it was like surprisingly disappointing. Mm-hmm. You know, like, it was worse than I thought it'd be, and I already had low standards. So
Dylan, very optimistic.
Yikes, Jessica, go ahead.
So I'm the least saltiest of the bunch, even going into this. I don't know if I will buy it or not. I want to pre-order it and see how I feel when it comes out. I didn't mind a couple of the games for sure. I know there was some that, like, I seem to be the only one on cast that was excited about, but we'll get more into that. Yeah. As far as the presentation itself, I do think that the translator really threw it off. Like, to have parts where there's no translator talking at all, but the person presenting is still talking, so you know something's being said. That's pretty terrible. Or to, like, laugh for no reason. Like, why?
It was not, like, rehearsed. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. So, like, I get that you want to keep your presentation a secret, but you need to have some kind of communication between presentation and translator. And then one thing that I will say that really killed it in a bad way for the presentation for me is to end your presentation that you can't pre-order for like a week.
Because the official date was January 21st, I think.
Yeah, 9 days. It's over a week.
Yeah.
So,
strange.
I mean, that's like, here's all this stuff, get hyped. Whether you are hyped or not is a different story, but here's the stuff, get hyped, and now wait 10 days.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll get into other stuff more detailed as we get there, but for now I'll switch it to Taylor.
Whoa.
I beat you to it.
You did beat me. That's perfect, though. Well, all you fans out there, you know that I like things that people don't really like, and
Understatement, I'd say.
A lot of people may not like this, and I'm with them. So,
nice.
This is probably something, like, sure, the conference, it had some ups to it. I like the Mario, the Legend of Zelda at the end was really awesome, the score, everything, but I'll probably get on the Wii U. I think that, you know, it was very entertaining. If that was a movie, I'd watch it on, like, a Netflix and fail or something with you guys.
Wow.
But as for the Switch itself, you know, it's probably something that I'll probably buy in its last year.
Can you just buy a Wii U?
Yeah, I did. So that's how it'll probably go for me with the Switch. Let's switch to this guy.
Let's switch to me.
Well, that was a loud one.
I think they started really good. The first 10, 15 minutes, it felt really official. It felt really good. It felt like what I was saying before when we started. I wanted like kind of an E3 sort of press conference-y sort of deal. I want to be very professional. I wanted to come off really smooth, and I think it was. And then it just kind of took a dip, and I think the second it took a dip is, and I quote when Taylor Field said this, he said, "Why do I need to know how much ice is in a glass?" That's kind of the moment where it was like, yeah, because there's a demo where literally he's like, you can feel how much one ice cube would be in a glass. Now, how about two? And that's really when it did feel like it took a turn. And it got into, like, classic Nintendo, like, and then the guy's laying on a couch. And I know some people, if you find that funny, that's great, but, like, I didn't want
I will
funny.
defend the couch guy, because when I first got the original Wii, that is how I played Zelda Twilight Princess, was sprawled out on my couch with the nunchuck in one hand and the Wiimote in the other, and I just played like that. So they are demonstrating that you can just, like, lay in lazy positions and play like that, so I will defend that.
I guess he just did it more in a comedic fashion, as that's why I didn't like it, and I didn't want any laughs in this thing. I want to be super serious.
But it's Nintendo.
I know, and that's why I was hoping for a non-Nintendo, because even though I was not the biggest fan of the Switch reveal, for me, like, the console stuff, overall, I thought was fine, other than the song on the trailer. I thought the trailer was good, like, the messaging was kind of mad, but, like, it felt like a real console launch, like, oh, we're gonna give more details, and, yeah, the pacing was off. They didn't really show any games that I really want. They showed one in particular that looked fucking phenomenal. I don't want to buy one phenomenal game, like, that's not worth $300, and Taylor already said it, Zelda I can get on Wii U, so we'll go over it. They started March 3rd, which seems...
Yeah.
Kind of par for the course. We heard springtime, right? So I won't definitely be getting it because, you know, Logan. I could not have any hours taken away from that. But
and even just
on Friday
to jump ahead just for a second, like the one game that blew us away is obviously the Mario game, and that's not coming out until fall. So that's a while off. Like I feel like
almost a whole year.
I feel like they really needed that to be a release title, especially because that was something that was dearly lacking in this whole presentation.
Well,
that's one of the big things I was looking for. Not that I was really ever gonna probably buy it off the get go anyway, but I feel like that's what this presentation was for, and I feel like they needed more of that.
Well, we were even worried to the end if it was gonna be like the Zelda game was gonna be a launch game, because really, I don't remember any other launch games really other than like I guess like 1-2 Switch and ARMS, but
ARMS wasn't though.
Oh yeah, I guess didn't they say summer? I think.
Yeah.
March 3rd is a good enough date. I think, is that going to be when kids are on spring break, I think around there, right? Or just before, maybe?
I don't know.
It's around the spring break area. I think it's before at least, so that kind of makes sense. They announced $299, which, what did you guys think about the price? For me, I thought it had to be $299. Couldn't be higher than that. It could have been lower, but I couldn't say, I don't think it could be higher.
I didn't predict it to be any higher than that. I think that's fine. Yeah, it's fine enough. From like the start, you know, that's... its release price, that's fine.
They always price lower than PlayStation and Xbox, so I'm actually not too surprised. Even like what Wii U came out around the same time as Xbox One and PS4, and it was priced comparatively lower. So in theory, $299 is kind of the general price point that they consistently hit. So
right. Taylor, what do you think about the price?
I think $299, like, it's... I remember when the Wii U came out, I'm pretty sure, like you said, it was $299, I'm pretty sure. Like, it seems like their average go-to price for
I
their
think so,
console.
and I think they had a... I thought they had a 350 one for, like, the bigger gigabyte one, didn't they? Because there was, like, a 12 gigabyte.
Yeah, it was a $50 difference.
Yeah, so I think but they're usually in the same, like, relatively range.
Yeah.
So that's all you think? You just... the price is good enough?
I guess. Not good enough for me, but, you know, it's good.
Wow, I'm not actually seeing. This is a rarity.
He's taken a shift in the last couple months here. This is the first time we really just heard him start to like trash talk things. I mean, it's great. It's just so genuine, you know.
So after that, they kind of got into showing it off a bit. They had a whole segment about the Joy-Cons.
Yes, those are the name of the two little mini controllers.
What did you think about that whole period overall? And you can lump in, I guess, that whole chunk of the Bond villain in that video showing it off. What did you think about that?
Well, I think it's cool that they have like colored versions. I think people will like that. I'm wondering if it's just blue and red. I mean,
I think
it's the only thing they showed, so
it could change over time, right?
I actually am not as much a hater as a controller as you are. I don't think like it looks kind of small. And what do you
breaking news?
Looking it up, Joy-Con you can buy a 2-pack for $80 or like
what? $80?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
So
they can't like.
That's ridiculous.
Like, yeah, it has as many buttons as any controller.
Or one, they do have solos for $50.
Well, what are you gonna do with that?
So just one little Joy-Con? So
Throw
you
out the window?
No, so you can break it out with your friends and do that.
If you break yours or something like that, right?
$50?
If yours breaks, you should be able to send it back and they send you a new one.
Yeah. Dylan set me up for it. I'm going to budge in before these two. I think the name is stupid. I think it's so small and it looks so tedious. It looks like it is going to break. It looks lame. It looks like Toys R Us, sort of like... It looks like it's a spin-off. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like, oh, look, there's the Nintendo Switch and this is like the off-brand, like, gaming console, you know? Like, I think it looks lame. I don't think myself or any of the friends are going to bust out and play that. I don't want anything to do with that. And that's ridiculous. 2 of those cost $80, and I get it, you buy it, but, like, I don't think... I get it if you're Xbox and PlayStation. Nintendo can't afford that right now. And, like, to me, let's say somehow both those controllers get broken and parents are going to go pay $80. That's a whole game. Like, what now? What's new breaking news?
You can buy the Joy-Con wheel set of 2 for playing Mario Kart for $14.99, though.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else to add?
I think one thing to mention is I think the controllers, you know, if you're using them for like a single person, they do, like, they seem like too small and like awkward for that purpose, but I think for a single player experience, having 2 just for yourself, I think it's fine, you know, kind of, it's
like
a Jessica
arms
thing.
game.
It's like, to me, I like the Wiimote and Nunchuck. They're kind of awkward looking, but I think they're completely functional and fine as controllers. And so I think it'll be like that, but just a little less wonky looking. It'll just look nicer. And then, yeah, if you want, you can click them into the controller, or you can click them into the gamepad. Like, I think that's fine, but yeah, definitely they're pushing a lot of it, how, you know, if you're playing multiplayer with your friends, one is going to have each little thing, and that thing's tiny, right? Like, I feel
it's
like
super tiny. I'm excited to get it in my hand, like, to see it.
Hey,
I love things in my hands.
I'm not a... I think they look pretty bad as like a multiplayer thing in terms of you using just one.
Yeah.
But as a pair, $80 is a little steep. It seems like you need that for a lot of these games in the first place.
Yeah, like if Dylan has one, and let's say let's say Jessica, she's more likely to buy it. If you get one and we want to play with you at all, or you want to play another one, that's $80.
Yeah, you guys got all pitch in to buy a second set.
No. I will not be pitching.
They didn't really talk to you about the distance you would be able to take everything away from the console, which is kind of...
I don't think that far, because those people in the 1-2 Switch games were super fucking close, like concussion close. Like, that's why they have those little straps, but like they look like if they screw up and like...
Yeah, well, they did show, like, you know how they have like length, they can detect how far away it is, but I mean, he showed an example of like 1 foot, so it doesn't, you don't really get a good vibe of like how much that really reaches. What do you think of the controller in general, though?
They do seem really small, and Taylor stated it on cast, but just to say it again, they do seem that they put the buttons and the joysticks really close to one side on both the controllers.
Yes.
And it doesn't make sense why not just put like the home button in between the two and spread it out? If it didn't need to be at the bottom and like compact everything to one side. I'm not as opposed to it as you guys are. I don't think it's going to be quite as big of a deal, but I have tiny little small hands. But I definitely, I don't know, they look like they might just be awkward to play, because even when, if any of you guys got the Wii, when you originally had to like put on the rumble pack on the bottom, and then you went to play sideways to play Mario, and you had to like reach over the rumble pack to press the buttons.
You had to adjust,
Yeah, that's kind of what it makes me think of, is everything's kind of slid to the side.
Yeah.
I do agree with Travis, though. It'd be nice to kind of actually get to hold one and see comparatively.
Yeah.
Like, maybe
Well,
that
it's in
guy
6
gets
cities in North America, so
6.
let's hope Kelowna BC's one of them. Fuck you, Reggie. You let me down tonight. It's coming in there, I hope. Taylor, what do you think?
We got Kelowna, we got Vernon.
Yeah. Kamloops.
No Vancouver.
Yeah. No Toronto. What do you think about the segment, especially because you were the one that yelled out the Reggie's calling us. He's mad. He's watching. He's like, "You motherfucker, Travis! Come at me, bro! I'm right here. I'll take you down the gauntlet. Check it out." What do you think? Because this was I'll beat him in his own game. I'll beat him in a fucking little Joy-Con game. What do you think? Because this was a segment that also included the ice thing. That's where it seemed like you kind of turned. Jessica, we may lose a cast member. We may need to be down to 5.
This is what you did to us, Nintendo. You're killing off our members.
You know, I'm just looking forward to going to those after parties with these things.
Yeah.
That was in the highlight reel, was clubbing and whatnot. And it's like,
you can take it to parties, you can take it to after parties for Taylor.
And this is my thing, like, I'll piggyback on this. Watch my computer.
Actually, he said you bust out the Switch after the party. Thank you.
He said at parties and then at the after parties.
Right.
So, like, this is where, like, and you said when we talked about Richie,
battery life's
like,
not going to handle that, I'll tell you.
You would bust them out, and that's good. And I know some people will, but, like, I think the situations that they show them are not bustable ones. I understand at a friend's party, that was my problem with that first trailer, was the basketball court. All my friends that I know play basketball wouldn't do that. Like, they're there to play a game, they shower, they go home. I don't know anybody that's going to Kelowna nightclub level. And you know what? Let's play 1-2 switch in the middle. First of all, the bouncer would throw you the fuck out because he'd be like, "This guy's high. You're not playing a game. You're not playing a game." Like, that's my problem. The situations it comes off. The thing turned and got really cheesy, and that's where, to me, it was that Ice Cube moment, because it got really cheesy, and it got back to that E3 panel we hated a couple years ago with the puppets and everything.
The thing...
Oh, wait, go ahead.
No, you go first, go ahead.
Did anyone notice you can even, like, turn off the screen? So, like, you pick it up and pack it to the party, but, like, you have to leave the screen running until you get there for 2 hours, and then you only have a half an hour battery life?
Hopefully not.
Anyone notice anything about...
I think you could turn it off and turn it on there, I think. I think so.
Screen?
I think so, yeah.
So, like, if I turn off my screen and travel, like, 5 hours...
Well, the screen is the console.
Yeah.
The docking station just, like, charges it and puts it on the TV.
So I think as long as you charge it and keep it off, you're good until you turn it on. Which we haven't said before you go. They said battery life is 2 hours to 6.5, depending on the game. I still think that's a funny way of saying it's going to be around 3 hours, and to me that's a big negative.
Did the disc go in your screen then? Or cartridges, if they've...
I don't remember them showing that.
They didn't mention that.
They didn't show a lot of stuff. They didn't show the discs. They didn't show that.
We have heard, like, I think it was just rumors of potential going to cartridges, right? And they do that for 3DS, so, I mean, they could make it work. But, no, what I was going to say is, like, that whole segment of showing, like, you know, the situations are going to play, people, like, dressed up in costumes. Supposed to be, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, it was confusing. It didn't make sense. So we'll just go, I guess, right into the battery life. Yeah, they said, like, for, you know, like, your Skyrims and probably Zeldas, that will be, like, 2.5 hours.
They didn't say that specifically. They just said, depending on the game. They didn't list any, right? So they're going to leave it up for us to decide. But we know those are going to be, like, 2 hours.
I'm wondering what is 6 hours? Because, like, you said Mario Kart, but, like, I don't
think so.
I don't think so. Like, I think Mario Kart, like, those... I guess it's not quite as open world as those games, but, like, there's still a lot going on.
And it's technically beautiful,
it's still,
right?
It seems like it'd be pretty intensive enough.
I think your 1-2 switches, I think your arms, I think Splatoons maybe, but you know more about that than me, but that Splatoon did not look that great quality-wise, so, like, I think that could be like a 3.54 hour games, but I think the 6.5 hour games will be the Switch games, even though then, wouldn't the wireless connectivity of the remotes drain it more, technically, right?
Did we get a screen size at all?
No, they didn't give any inches right now. I'm on IGN right now, so in case anything comes up, I'll let you know. But Mario, I'll try and find out a date here. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is what they're calling it. Is coming to Nintendo Switch. So, pardon us, this is a live cast, so we're like looking at notes as we go along.
They didn't say that in the trailer. Like they showed it,
Sonic,
but they should have. And I don't know, like, it would have been pretty simple to just say, you know, Mario Kart Deluxe in the trailer there. I don't know. They should have done that.
Binding of Isaac Afterbirth and Redout to Nintendo Switch both will be released in spring 2017.
Binding of Isaac's cool, but
wow, I couldn't even get that idea. I thought, well, this would be alright, and you're like, but
well, it's already on the 3DS, so
really? I didn't know that.
You can already play that. It's on the new 3DS, so you would have to have one of those, but. Yeah, you can already play that on mobile if you want. Right?
So Mario Kart Deluxe will launch this April, so a month after the launch, which that to me is even a head scratcher. You would think that a remaster, it is a remaster game, sorry, but it is, or a Game of the Year edition. You would think that could launch with the console too, because what is 1-2 Switch and Zelda were the games, and also there'll be little games like I posted in our group chat, but like Lego City Undercover is launching with, but that's a 4-year-old game. Yeah. I think Skyrim will launch with it because it'll already be out. Well, it's already out, right? Yeah. So, like, but the thing is, other than Zelda, I think this is almost like a weaker launch lineup than it's on par with Wii U and what I remember, right? Like you have Zelda, but to me it's a negative when it's on the Wii U because I looked at Zelda, I'm still iffy about it, but like, man, this looks great. I think it'll be fun. I'm happy to have a Wii U because I can buy it there. Exactly. I don't need to spend $350, probably $400 for us Canadians to buy $80 and then play Zelda, right?
They did say we're gonna have more of these presentations. So I'm wondering if they're going to have another one where they're going to talk about more launch titles, but as of this trailer, that's what I was looking for a lot, and they didn't. They only talked about 2, I guess.
I don't think there'll be any presentations like this. I think there'll be minor, like Nintendo Directs, maybe, and
probably not an hour long.
Yeah, flesh out a few of their games, like with Mario Kart. They didn't even announce it, right? And maybe they'll just be like, oh, these are the games coming. Like, when is it launched? March. So in February, end of February, they'll be like, oh, these are the games. They'll do like a launch direct, but like, what's coming with it that we need, you know? And that Mario game is next year. The Mario game, if that was launching, then I wouldn't buy it for one game, but I could say, okay, they kind of have the smoking gun of like, this game looks fucking great.
Well, I mean, that was the one thing that blew all of us away. And
it looked great.
I'm pretty sure most people would have been because, well, I guess we'll get into it more when we get to that.
Just a little bit. The deluxe edition of Mario Kart features all the content from the Wii U version as well as all DLC tracks, characters, Inkling Girl, Inkling Boy from Splatoon, King Boo, Dry Bones, Bowser Jr. will be available as new characters too. Battle mode has also been updated to include Balloon Battle and Bombard Blast, including new courses like Underpass, Battle Stadium, as well as returning ones as GameCube's Luigi's Mansion and Battle Course 1. So that's everything there.
Okay, well, Dry Bones, I'm sold. I'm buying.
I'm buying
a
lot of people are excited by that. But once again, kind of what we knew. That's my thing from this to overall, like, before we get to the end, is, like, nothing surprised me from this. Other than that Mario game, we kind of all knew what was this, and not from leaks, just they showed it at that reveal, right?
They did, yeah.
And it's like, I was waiting for another, like, okay, one more thing, and they didn't, like, there was no Metroid, there's no, like, something...
I mean, with that Mario game, we did say from when we saw the first trailer, we assumed that was the next, like, Galaxy open world one.
Yeah.
And it was, so, I mean, even that, it's new, and it was awesome, but, like, we already have seen that too, right?
Yeah, we just got a date on it, which, like, I think will be official, but Jessica, you want to say something?
No,
sorry, I thought I saw a page open on your thing, so I was wondering if it was...
I'm just digging around while you guys are talking.
Yeah. Taylor, do you want to finish? We went off course, but the Joy-Cons, you didn't give our opinion on that. We went a little off course.
Right.
Yeah. The ice, what did you think about that?
The ice, you know, as I said while we were watching the thing, I'm like, okay, did I lose track here? Because... why is there a cup with ice cubes in it, and then there's a second ice cube and a third? Now he's filling it with water. I'm thinking, what the heck does this have to do with the controller?
Well, that kind of couples with exactly what Dylan was saying about with the costumes. That portion really felt like I just didn't understand who's that for, because kids aren't watching this, you know, 14 and up, yes, but those are different kids. If 14 ups are watching this, they're gamers, right? Yeah. They're already into their CODs, they're already into Steam, like they're into Fallout, there's kids that get this will be from parents, right? And the thing is, I just didn't understand what this icing was, other than I knew right when they did that was their moving into motion. Yeah. And they did. And let's talk about that next.
Sorry, did you say that Mario Kart wasn't a release?
It said, on IGN it said this April.
Yeah, April 28th.
Yeah. So even more than a month. Almost 2 months, to be honest.
So with the Joy-Con controllers, with the ice then, were they implying like, oh, there's more ice cubes in here, you can feel the controller getting heavy? Or...
Well, they said you would be able to tell how many ice cubes are in a cup. So I imagine, like, for games that you'll be like, oh, like, just something. Like, let's say there is a fucking game where you catch ice in cup, right? And you would know when you catch it. But I don't want a game where I catch fucking ice in cup.
I think it means, like, you can hear it. Like, you can...
I think it meant where the vibration was in the handset. So if you shake it, it's only at the bottom or in the middle.
I don't know if it'll give you the exact sensation of, like... But, like, I could go in my fridge and do that for $0. I don't need to spend $300. Let's get in this. We talked a lot about this for the past year and a half on this and how majority of us, myself included... Like, big time, not a big fan of motion, and we said that's one of the things I had to get away from, because that was always big criticism for Wii and Wii U, that people were over it, they didn't like that. They're, I wouldn't say doubling down, but they're definitely, no, you know, I'd say they're doubling down. Half their, like, a good 25% of their conference was this. It was the 1-2 switch game, it was the ARMS game. What do you think about this? Because they didn't show any of that motion really in the trailer.
The setup that they had was, they showed, okay, like, all of our consoles... have had something new to them. And first of all, I'm going to say I was pretty salty that, like, GameCube, it had a handle. Like, what the fuck? That's what you say was good about the GameCube, was that it had a handle?
Arguably the best console Nintendo, and that's all it is resort down to. You
that's
GameCube
just,
lovers,
that's just ridiculous. Like, that doesn't even make sense. And anyway, so they're going along, and they're like, okay, the Wii had motion control, the Wii U had the gamepad, and then I don't even...
They did a weird logo in Japanese that put all the controllers and stuff together. It was like this Frankenstein-like logo.
Yeah, so I guess what they're saying with the new with this console is that you can, like, switch it and around and unclick it and put it controllers different ways. But, like, you kind of already could do that with the Wii.
But that's what they were saying. They said that they took the best parts of every console.
Right, so I'm trying... I think what I'm struggling to find is, like, what do you have... Like, what is the new thing, then? Because, like, why do I need to get a Switch to do this motion control Frankenstein controller monster that I can already do, and I've been doing since the Wii came out. And like
the new thing is the multiplayer with friends at different locations. Legitimately, that's it. At the clubs, that's the new feature, right?
Yeah, and like I don't know, that for me, I was just trying to I was trying to see where they're going, and I think you kind of hit on the head. Like, why is motion control what you're pushing here? Like, it should be. I don't know, anything else.
And same thing, another thing they did not show in the opening trailer. So for me, it felt like they were almost hiding it. Of like, oh, people will probably not like this. Let's like make the Switch look really cool and hip in that opening one. And then months later, it's like, oh, we also have all these motion games.
I don't know, like maybe they're just really that blind that I think people are still excited by that. When you have, like, a couple things we were saying while watching it is, VR. And like, this game would be super cool if it was VR, but it's not. And VR is so prominent now. People are playing it. Jessica's played it now. And like, it's great, and so
and all we hear is great things.
So now Nintendo's just behind again, and they had that statement a few months ago. We're not looking into.
We don't have much interest in VR. Yeah.
So like that, like those controllers, those are perfect for VR. That would honestly be better than having like the PlayStation like move things and just having sensor. Like you have buttons on there and you have sensors. Yeah. Like perfect, except you're not doing VR.
Do you think that they feel like they're ahead of VR by being, like, in reality, by looking in the eyes?
No, remember how will you know the game? They do this weird demo where it was like, oh, how will you know when something switches or something like that, and you'll look in their eyes. And it was weird, which before I piggyback on what Dylan was saying.
That could just be the translator that didn't know what was going on.
Very true. It's hard. We could have so much wrong. We don't. But before I go on what Dylan was saying, from just an editing standpoint, I did not like that their two trailers for motion games were pretty much identical. It was two people walking up and then facing off, and then the one was taking out guns and shooting each other, and the other ones were boxing. I get it. To me, it was just like in a conference that's only an hour, you should do things that be different. It was just like from an editing standpoint for me. But yeah, with like what you're saying when we talk about with VR, it just feels like everyone continues to be so ahead of the curve. And I don't think it's them being behind the curve. I think it's just that, oh, everyone's going in that direction, so let's go this way to be different. But I don't think it's paying off. It paid off with the Wii. It made lots of money. It was great. But to me, it's showing that was probably like lightning in a bottle. Because that was the time. There wasn't any motion games. They did it right. It was a big family thing. Wii Fit and everything. They did Wii U. That bombed. This, who knows? But online already, like, we were looking at the show, Jessica, like, there's lots of, like, it was not a positive thing. It wasn't like the reveal. I've seen lots of positive things for Zelda, and I've not been on since it ended. But when I went on Twitter for just the Nintendo Switch presentation, people didn't seem like that thrilled about it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was getting. Same thing for you, Jessica. What do you think about the whole motion being back and continuing on with Switch?
Well, I mean, I can understand why they did it, because Wii was arguably probably one of their biggest selling consoles.
You mean Wii?
It's not, is that what I said?
You said Wii.
No, she said Wii.
Fuck me. I was wrong.
So, I mean, I can understand why they're trying to kind of keep that alive, because, I mean, it's true. They really are combining the Wii and the Wii U to make one new system.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree that, the gaming industry is going left and they're trying to veer right, or, keep going straight even. I do agree that they probably could look into VR for some of their games, like that punching one. They're halfway there, having your arms moving and stuff, but you sit on your couch, it's going to be exactly like Wii boxing.
Yeah.
Except
pretty much, yeah, and like gimmicky with like extending arms. It's like, okay, that like cool, but it feels like it's the same thing but in a different skin, It's like same thing with this 1-2 Switch game. That is going to be like their, like, I guess Wii Sports, where it's like, oh, you can sword fight and you can, like, I don't know, do fucking ice catching games. Like, I don't know.
Put glass. You can put water in the glass.
Yeah.
And ice cubes. 3 of them.
3. You can tell if it's only.
They're all the same
1,
ice
2,
cube,
3.
but you can put it in 3 times.
Taylor, what do you think about the motion stuff still being around?
Well, it's weird. You go from the Wii that was really big on motion to the Wii U, which was like a huge step in a different direction, and then now they've disregarded everything with the gamepad. I feel in this sense, like everything that's about the gamepad, except for the fact that it's portable.
Yeah.
And they're going right back to the Wii, and I feel like they're doing that just because they feel like, oh, the Wii was so successful because of what we did with the motion and everything, and I feel like that's just not approaching it properly. I mean, when you look at what Microsoft and Sony are doing with the VR and gaming, Nintendo is definitely wanting people to get outside and stop playing real basketball, but play it on the picnic table. Sure, get people outside, but that's not what I want to do when I'm playing a game. If I'm going to play a game, I'll play motion games every now and then, but I'd much rather have a better looking controller to play these games on the go, and then if I want to play motion games, I'll go out and pay $49.99 for the 2 controllers for the motion games.
You get one.
You get one.
You get one for $50.
Oh,
What about in the winter too? Like that's gonna remove a lot of
Oh yeah, for sure. Well
when
not
you're
for people in the
snowboarding.
state. Yeah,
When you're snowboarding, you can go inside.
Right.
Well, that's a great transition because huge title just announced. Steep is coming to Nintendo Switch.
Fantastic! I was waiting for that.
Skylanders Imagineers announced for Switch, and Rayman Legends. The ultimate versions of Rayman Legends promises a brand new surprises on the Switch.
Are these launch games or just coming?
Just
They
coming.
also have Super Bomberman R and Snipper Clippers, whatever that is.
Super Bomberman
Snipper
R.
Yeah.
Rated R.
Did you want me to find out if those are launch games or?
They're not launch games. They're
Well,
just
none of those are
coming
new,
soon.
right?
No, that the Steep and everything. Did you want to know that, Dylan?
Those aren't new games, are they?
It's not-
No, that's the game that came out a
Then it
couple months
doesn't really
ago.
matter.
It probably won't be launched though because I'm on their site and they have everything. They're saying featured games comes out March 3rd, featured game March 3rd.
Right.
And then the next one is April 28th, and then it says more games also coming soon. So
okay.
it's not even under their featured launch titles that come up. So I doubt those fall under
Yeah.
launch.
Well, before we get into... Oh, and that was the other thing, tying with the Joy-Cons, you also got the HD Rumble Pack, which was with... Dylan was a big fan of that. He loves the Rumble Pack, so HD Pack.
If there's anything I wanted past Rumble Packs, which I hate, it's HD Rumble Packs.
Let's talk about 2 things before we get into the games that could be
Did
true
we talk
positives.
about there's Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers.
Street Fighter 2. Didn't 5 come out last year?
5.
Has been Heroes.
Has been Heroes.
Just Dance 2017. Apparently, this Snipper Clippers Cut It is only $20 though. Whatever.
That's a great game, It's really underrated. No, I have no fucking...
Highly anticipated.
Oh, they got Disgaea 5 coming, which is pretty cool. Japanese game. Farming Simulator. Fast RMX. Looks like kind of hover racing. Fire Emblem. We talked
Click
about
on Fire Emblem Warriors. See if that's...
Okay, I'm going to keep going down this list first because this website is not doing well. I finally got into this. I'm going to keep looking. We got Tetris. We got something called
Why not Dr. Mario?
Rime or Rim, R-I-M-E. Shin Megami Tensei, which was not new. Siberia 3, Steep. Project Sonic 2017.
A lot of games.
Why didn't they show that?
Sonic Mania, Spring 2017.
Lego City.
Yeah, Lego City. And I Am Setsuna.
Not I Am Legend.
And that's all the games that they
would be
have.
sick.
This I Am Setsuna is set for release of March 2017 as well.
So it should be launch or relatively close. So
It's not good enough to get into the presentation.
Yeah, why wouldn't you talk about that then?
2 things I'll bring that I think could be potential positive. Jessica, I'll send over you first. They announced region unlocking on some things. They didn't clarify, but they just said region unlocking will be available on some things. What do you think about that? Because you seem the most happy about that. That's a good thing.
It is a really good thing. I don't know how it'll be for the Switch, because all I have to really base it on is when I went over to Japan, we went into video game stores and there were so many games for the PlayStation that I had never even heard of. It was just loaded. And I know that Nintendo is technically a Japanese-based company, so in theory, the possibility then of them having more games that we don't get here is quite high.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem ordering games and playing games in Japanese, so for me, I'm excited about it. If it means I can get more games and I can have games that we wouldn't get here for shows that, like I watch a lot of anime, so those things aren't popular in Canada. So I'm excited about it. It just depends if they actually put products out. Yeah.
Yeah, the first 7 Fire Emblem were region locked in Japan. So.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have any thought? I like me, quick. I think it's good, but I'm kind of still the wait and see. Like I want to see what exactly that means. I think it's good, but
I have not once looked into a game and been disappointed to find it was region locked. So it really has no bearing on me.
I've debated actually selling my PlayStation and buying a Japanese PlayStation just so I can actually play.
No, there's definitely a lot of people who are into that. Like I think it's a lot of the anime people, honestly, because it's a lot of those kind of games and stuff, and the Japanese culture and stuff. But yeah, for me,
game set's
kind of a
different
null point.
Wii.
What's that?
Game set's a lot different for Nintendo to a PlayStation though as well.
Yeah.
You're not playing the same type of game on a PS4
No.
that you're gonna be playing on the Nintendo Switch.
Taylor?
It opens up more possibilities for more gamers. I think that's a great step in a great direction. You know, if there's tons of games that I haven't even heard of, maybe they got a couple Assassin's Creeds that I don't know about. That would be cool.
Still going on about this
Ubisoft Japan.
Another thing they brought up was local multiplayer. When they showed all of them around, remember, and you can connect without. What did they say, without Wi-Fi and everything, or was it with? No, it was with Wi-Fi. You could connect, right? That's what
I didn't hear.
Either way, local multiplayer. They showed a bunch in a circle. I think that's good. Not cool. I don't know how many people will. Well, Nintendo people do.
Well, I mean, because I don't think on the Wii U you can't connect a separate gamepad.
No.
So I guess that's the reason they say that, is just to say, hey, this is something new.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You guys have anything to say on that before we get into the games there?
Go ahead.
I think that's good. Nintendo was always, at least for me, big on just a couch co-op kind of feeling. So I think it's awesome that they're just kind of sticking to that, because the Wii U, there is not too many games that I got that I could really play with friends. There's the other one Mario, Smash.
It's because you don't have friends. That's why.
Oh, I know, I have no friends. When I bought the Wii U, they're like, Taylor, you fucking suck.
Wow.
That was us.
But I think it's cool that they are trying to stay true to themselves in that sense, where they want to keep people close together while they're playing these Nintendo games. On the downside, it's $80 a friend, so...
Those friends were
No, that one was for the connecting 8 people, was the actual Switch console. Right?
So if you know 7 other people who have a Switch.
Yeah, that was for the console. You could get that and play a mini game, but there was something when they said local multiplayer, let's say it was, I don't know, Army Man 2. And I had it, and you had there's local multiplayer, but you would have to have a Switch. I have to have a Switch.
Oh.
So it works like a game, the old school, Game Boys and whatnot.
If you have,
but over Wi-Fi.
A 3DS and you can one cartridge play with multiple consoles, everyone has to have the console to play.
And that game too, I imagine too.
I'm guessing so.
if their controllers are $80, I imagine you gotta have every game.
I mean, my first problem is I gotta get 8 friends. My second problem is I gotta have 8 friends who have enough money for a Switch.
And only 7 friends. You are one of the friends.
And then I gotta have 7 friends that not only have the money for a Switch, but they're actually gonna put out the money for a Switch, and then they gotta actually buy the game too. Right. So the criteria is pretty high. Don't think it's
look at a lot of people who can dress up.
Don't forget, you can only hang out for 2 hours, then your battery dies, and you gotta go home.
No, you can charge if you're somewhere with charging stations.
You can do it at home.
Charge it with a cable.
You just gotta get a big power bar.
I'm only playing at the basketball court. I don't know what court's there. Okay.
And you're just waiting inside the club, I'm in line. I can't get in.
The dead of winter and it's minus 1,000. I'm going to the basketball courts. Okay.
I'm saying them. I don't care. I'm not buying this. Games. I'm not. Sorry. Spoiler. Games. We talked about a bit. The first game they showed off was 1-2 Switch. Any other comments on that?
I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun. I like playing WarioWare and.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, they're fun games.
I don't need to play with motion though. I don't need to play any of these games with motion. It looks fucking stupid.
I think
that was me.
It'd be cool. It'd be better if it was WarioWare, if it was characters that we know. Well, instead it's just it's I don't know. They looked like really like you can play rock paper scissors with your friends. Like, oh, sick!
I can also do that with my fucking hands. And we can also play the ice catching game. We're gonna do that in a gauntlet one time. Who can catch this much ice?
It wasn't saying that you could play rock paper scissors. It was saying that it's able to read the hand motions in front of, like it's able to register.
I can't wait to go online and be number one on the leaderboard for rock paper scissors.
The reason they say that is so that you can play rock paper scissors.
I just think that it's going to be just something. You know, kind of like Nintendo Land was, where it's just kind of something you can throw on and...
It didn't look like Nintendo Land, though. It looked like really simple games.
I see what she's saying, though.
Yeah, like, you have some people over, and you need kind of something like, you know, a conversation starter or something to kind of... for people to play while they mingle or whatever, and you just throw it on in the background. You can have two people draw their guns really quickly.
It's an easy game you can throw on to the guy who hasn't played video games in 5 years.
Or you have kids over or something, and they need something fun to play, but you don't want to sit there and teach them how to play Mario Odyssey. Like,
no kids aren't going to play this. I'm poisoning their mind with this Switch business. The only part where I like when they're like, it can be an icebreaker, and they had like the two people like standing like nose to nose, like looking at each other. So I'm like, that's not an icebreaker. Like, that's the start of like a sex video. Taylor, did you have anything to say on 1, 2 Switch?
Wow.
Sex video.
Yeah.
I gave it a good 1 second, 2 second, and then I wanted to switch it off.
Oh!
I wasn't impressed.
Taylor's winning me overnight, but I'll hate him tomorrow morning.
You'll switch back.
Yeah, I'll switch back. I love him tonight, but just because we're rarely on the same page. ARMS, I think we talked about that already. Anything else to say? I think it looked really cheesy to me. It doesn't look like a game for me. I think you made a good point, Dylan. Now, well, if it was VR, I would understand, but it just looks... It looks like a game you'd get really bored of after a while. It's not like Pokken or somewhere. It's like you can do different combos or Mortal Kombat. It literally just like you're gonna... It's just Wii boxing with a different skin.
Right.
It's like Wii boxing. It's like... Go away, two-face hair.
Initially, like, the first trailer for it, like, because they did the, you know, thing with two real people walking up, I thought it looked pretty cheesy at first, but it, like, I think it has potential. Like, I'm not against it yet. I mean, they did say, like, you know, it's got a lot of depth and it's quite a challenging game.
Oh, bullshit!
Right, but what if they're right? What if that is, like, a really deep fighting game? Like, it's
an RPG.
Like,
it's
actually...
the next Melee, whatever.
Oh, no, it's not the next Melee. But,
that's what they're saying online, Dylan.
Like, yeah, I can't picture myself, like, spending $80 to see if it really is that deep of a game, but, you know, if I was at my friend's house, assuming any of my friends buy the Switch, and they're like, hey, you want to play this? I'm like, yeah, I actually would be down to, like, try it out and see what if it's, like, actually, like a solid game, because I feel like it has potential. But it didn't, like, sell me just because it looked so... I think you were saying, Travis, that it looked like it didn't have, like, a lot of replayability and it would make it dry pretty quick, and I think it has to prove me wrong, because right now that does seem like the feel.
It would be cool if it was, like, one of the games in, like, a Nintendo Land sort of thing, right? Like, it's like, what if they just put, whatever, let's say it's Nintendo Land 2 or whatever, and it's just like, oh, you have ARMS, 1, 2 Switch. Mm-hmm. If all those were put together, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. But when they're separately, and let's just say we're operating the base that they're $60 games, $80 for us, that's when I'm like, that I don't know if it's worth the price. Which I also mentioned, Taylor did not give the Asian girl in the video any chance, even though I pointed out how her speed, and then we saw, but he was like, oh, this big guy, this isn't fair, he's just going to beat her up, so I just want to throw that out there.
Well,
but she won.
The second thing I'll say about that is they also kind of paired that with saying, oh, you know, welcome our new characters. I feel like there's no reason for that game to be with Ribbon Girl and
Spring
Boy. Like, if that was Waluigi and Luigi kicking it off, like, that would have been pretty hype. And then even that could add potential. Been Mario boxing. Like, what if Samus is in there and like her right arm is like her laser beam? Like, that would be fucking sweet. Like, that would be so sick. Even if it was just Mario and crew and it wasn't any other Nintendo characters, that would make the game like instantly like 100 times better. And like, I would, if that was the same trailer but with Nintendo characters, I'd be like, okay, this game's actually sick.
Yeah, to me,
I might actually buy it.
To me, I'm a 50-50 on it, because it seems like nowadays they don't do, or they're afraid of doing games like we had Mario Party back in the day, Mario Tennis. So I get that, but then the business sense is, oh, we're trying to create new brands, and I get that, but then you shouldn't right away say these are new characters. Well, Splatoon was a new game, and now they kind of build a community, and now they're going to be considered they'll be in a new Smash game.
The look of that game, the art style, and like the name of the characters and the look of the characters was very Splatoon. And it seems like they're just trying to, oh, Splatoon was successful, people like the Inklings and the Squid, let's throw these guys in here who look like they're in the same universe, and hope they take off.
But I don't like the label of new characters in the Nintendo family or something like that, and that's what I mean. Like they have to earn that, They can't just be put into Smash. And I guarantee you, 100%, though, one of those guys will be in Smash. I promise you that. I take that to my grave. You'll see Springy Man or whatever in Smash because they're already referring to them as that, and I agree with you. I get that they want to make new characters or new genres, but it should have been a Mario one. That you could throw that skill in there and easily could be fun. And like you said with Samus, that's a good idea. Like all these things, you could have Wario farting on people. Like he tends to do that. Like, but yeah, I think it's another missed opportunity. In Mario Kart, if you hit his horn, it's a fart. Like, Jessica, what do you think about arms? In general, on people, do you think they're useful? No.
Well, on people, I do find they are quite useful.
Me too.
The game for the Switch, I will not. With Wii mechanics, Wii boxing with stretchy arms.
Wii box.
Taylor, arms.
If I stretch
it is bright and colorful, though. I will give it that. It's fun to look at.
If I won the lottery, maybe there's a gun to my head.
If I won the lottery and there was a gun in my head, not even he would. He'd maybe play this game.
Maybe, potentially.
I'd go one farther and say, "Shoot me, motherfucker." And that'd be it. That'd be it. I'd be done.
Shoot me with your dual ink.
Yeah, the dualies. The dualies when we get to Splatoon. Don't forget about those dualies.
I don't know. Like it's. I think if it was Mario themed, I would have been really, really excited for this game. But what they say, you can jump, you can dash. That's it. Okay. I mean, you can do that.
You can punch too. Don't forget.
You can punch. That is their selling point at this point.
Okay, so
from long range.
Yeah, from long range.
Oh, here you go, Jessica. Just Dance will have an exclusive track on Switch. But before we get into some more games, there's two announcements that I saw.
I need to throw out one more thing before you continue. Okay. I was just looking. One activity that they didn't mention on the presentation that I really think we need to mention is you can verse your friends at milking cows on 1-2 Switch.
Oh, nice.
So
wow.
Sold. I love to converse people when I milk cows. It's my favorite thing.
Who can milk a cow?
That's the worst part about city life. I don't have my cows.
Okay, so this is something we briefed, and my bad, I forgot in the notes. They did announce that they're going to do a online paying service. So like an Xbox Live, like a PlayStation Plus. Remember, they did announce that. Now, before you guys continue, there's new developments on this. New Switch details, online paid service. Online lobby and voice chat, which they talk about. Nice. Invite friends to play online. Set play appointments, which sounds so fucking dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Chat with friends during online matches, which needed. They've never had that for a long time. So here you go. Monthly game downloads. Subscribers will get to download and play a NS or SENS game with a newly added online play for free for a month. Now, hang on. There's exclusive deals, special offers for subscribers may include discounts. So that's part of the course for Xbox Live. So with that though, old Nintendo games sounds great. Love it. That sounds like a great idea. The wording though, you added online play for free for a month.
Yeah.
So with PlayStation Plus and Xbox Gold, you can download and keep those games.
Of course, yeah. So this one you get to have a taste, and if you like it, you can buy it.
You think the same thing as me, right? Like that's what you read that as. That's fucking lame. I'm sorry. That's another thing. Like it's another thing of them trying to compete, but it's kind of like, oh, we won't go halfway. Well, like even Xbox, like they learn. They're like, you know what? This is successful for PS Plus. We had shit online, but we were giving away free games. They gave away Batman Arkham City one time. That's when I was clicking in. Xbox doesn't have the same thing. 2 new games, and this is like, I don't like that. It's like, oh, you can rent a game for a month, and these are games that are old. Right. It's not even like, I don't understand if they're like,
these are really old games.
If it's like 2 months after Mario Odyssey comes out, you can play it free for a month, and if you like more, buy it. But it's like, if Super Mario World I can only rent and not get, like, it just shows them being a step behind again, and that's disappointing when I read that.
And then, like, them talking about, you can have voice chat now, and you have all this stuff. That's things that the other consoles have been playing for. Like, that service right there, like, obviously all that, like, chatting with your friends, that should be... That should be a given. So that's okay. So let's talk about the game. So you're just like not even getting these games forever. You're just getting to try them. That sounds like something you should just have like as a free service. So people can try your games out for a little bit and then I don't know.
No, I agree. I don't get it. It just seems same thing. They're just trying to catch up to everyone.
How much do you guys think it would be compared, like, a
Yeah,
month?
that's what it said. It said no pricing yet. So
Well,
so what is
they are pretty reasonable with like your NES games. Like I got Dr. Mario, it was $5, I think it was. So like the games are cheap, and Dr. Mario is a perfect example of a game they would put in here. You can have your online versus mode. So I mean, if they keep it to $5-10, like cool.
He's talking like online subscription. How much do you think that would be monthly? I would think somewhere in the 30 to 50 range, leaning more towards like a 35. Because I'm not sure what Xbox is for you. I don't know what PlayStation Plus is because I just buy a year, so I don't know. I just it just automatically reads, but I think it's like
for me, but I think Xbox it's 60 something.
Yeah, for a whole year, right? Yeah, so that's not that much. So I'm hoping they have option. Watch, Nintendo won't have a year option. They'll have like a
3
monthly,
months, 6 months.
No, not even just a month option. Just a month option. Jessica, what do you feel about the online, and what do you feel about that potential of renting games and not owning them?
I don't like Nintendo's online services as
but they're new and improved.
So that's what I'm saying. Depends how they change it up.
Mm-hmm.
Might make it worth it, but I mean, if they're trying to price competitively with PlayStation and Xbox with the with the online that they already offer, I'm not in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have tried to use Nintendo's current online. I absolutely despise it. So
because you won't need to play with friends online because you'll be playing all around clubs and in basketball courts already, so you won't need to play with them online.
That's true.
Well, I mean that's the thing. Like we all have a Wii U. None of us have added each other's friends.
No, we've always said that.
It's
too
a lot
hard.
of work. Like you have to find your friend
It is
code.
a lot of work.
They have to find their friend code. You have to exchange it and enter them, and then like accept each other. It's not just like this is my username. Oh, it popped up. I'll add you back.
It was hard enough for you just to get the conference to play on the actual Nintendo one.
I will say I looked it up. Apparently, ARMS is releasing at the same price as Breath of the Wild.
So that's an $80 game.
No,
For us, $60.
This is American, $59.
So 60, 80 for us. So
I mean, I'm not paying $80 for ARMS.
No, not at all.
Yeah, well, from that trailer, I mean, are they? Yeah, they could have different maps, but if they're all just a square and it doesn't really matter. I mean, how many characters? I don't know. That does not seem valid.
Back to the games. We're probably breaking when new stuff comes in. Splatoon 2. Dylan, you want to talk about this first? Releasing Euro on Splatoon?
Sure. Well,
Splatoon?
I think the first
Summer
thing,
2017.
The first thing I'll say is I thought it was Splatoon 1 the whole time because it didn't look...
That's what was rumored, too. It was just rumored or remastered, right, of Splatoon 1?
And I honestly think that's all they needed, I guess, because Splatoon 1, I've talked about this a while ago, but Splatoon 1, they had a lot of content on the disc that was blocked, and they just kind of released it monthly, I guess, to encourage people to come back. And it wasn't DLC, it was just more free content, but the thing is, it was all on the disc, and it was all done, like, content you didn't even have to update, like, it would just release one day. And I absolutely despise that, and so I feel like they could have just done, Splatoon...
Deluxe.
With all that stuff just unlocked, and you could play it all from the get-go. As I liked Splatoon, and the reason I stopped playing it, I've talked about this before as well, is because I felt like it was a game that'd be good to play with friends, and the Wii U was not savvy for that. I mean, I don't think there was I don't think you could talk. I don't think there was any sort of voice chat, right? I don't feel like I need to play Splatoon 2. I feel like I have Splatoon 1, and that's enough. There's already enough weapon variety in that between the released content that they had afterwards. I don't know. I don't think. I understand why they're doing this because the first game was really popular and people really liked it, and they pushed it in competitive aspects and stuff.
It's a super smart business move. Splatoon 2 coming out summer, so not a bad release date.
For me, as the only one here who's I think played Splatoon, I don't feel the need to play another one. Mm-hmm. I feel like that one just came out almost.
Yeah, that's why I was a little. At first, I was like, "Oh, some of them it makes sense. They need a little time." But the thing that caught me is just it didn't look graphically improved, and a lot of the games didn't.
And it looked pretty much the same game.
There was one game that said we'll get to, and it said Unreal Engine 4. We're like, "Oh, this should be good." And when it got to it, it did not look good. I'm not sure what was going on, but you guys do have anything to say on Splatoon? Like Dylan said, we've not played it. So you have anything to mention?
I wouldn't buy it right off the get-go with how many problems they had with the first one. I mean, really, it looks the same, and especially if they're trying to do all these changes to all their online features, I mean, that's what the game is really solely based on from what I've heard. So, I mean, if they're screwing around with their online and there's a lot of problems when that comes out,
It could help it, though, the other way around, though, if it's like a primarily online game and they are going to improve their online. That could actually help that game specifically, right? If you want to be, like half full type of guy. So,
you know, with the trend of all these Ultimate Deluxe editions that they're kind of remastering and bringing over to the Switch, I think that they should have probably done that for Splatoon as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like here, we're doing all of this DLC, everything, and a bunch of extra new stuff for Splatoon, and you'll be able to enjoy it to a further extent because we're changing all of the multiplayer experience. I think that would have been a better way to approach it, but just to come out with a whole brand new Splatoon game that doesn't even look really that different. I mean, I feel like that's a lot of resources that were just wasted in time. I mean,
I don't know. Dylan, do you think that it was better for them to come out with a new one, or should they have remastered?
I think new ones, I mean, it's fine enough, because, I mean, like I said, a lot of people enjoyed that game, and I think there's still a lot of people playing the first one.
I think it's
But I think they should have had it release date. Like, it should have been March 3rd that game came out.
I wonder how new it actually is, to be honest. And I wonder if it is a first game with a lot added on it, and it'll just be called 2. I'll be interested to see when it comes out, but that's a little suspicion of mine, because the first one didn't come out that long ago. So that's a quick fucking turnover time.
They could have easily ported all the assets and just, like, thrown some new maps in there.
That's what I think. We'll see. I could be 100% wrong easily. They could have just started working on it day one after, but it just seems really quick to have that, so... a game that I'm looking at this when they announced it, I don't know why they left it to the end, but Mario Odyssey. What do we all think about that?
Mario Odyssey looks fantastic. I think that game kind of blew all of us away. I mean, it started out Mario walking around New York, and you're kind of like, okay, I don't know what this is, but I'm excited to find out. Yeah, and it looks, not like your GTA. You can't just do whatever you want, but you just kind of go around. I get the feeling that, your Mario 64, you have Peach's Castle, you go around and go in the pictures to different levels. I have a feeling that's kind of what the New York is, and he goes on high roof, and then you go to the cloud level, and that.
Even though I think it's not pictures, I think he's using this fucking, air balloon thing. Remember? He was in this and was like, it looked like a pipe that could fly, so it looks
I came out of the sewers, though, remember?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go into pictures. I'm just saying that's
you just equating. Okay, sorry.
Because I'm pretty sure he went into one roof and then hopped in an airship.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
clearly
one entrance to a level. And so I think that's really cool. I think that's a fantastic way to do it. And then apparently they were saying that, different locations of the world are kind of the levels. Mm-hmm. I'm a little confused by that, because some of the levels just looked super cartoony. And
they look like the world if you're on LSD.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Some are made out of food too.
I think that's just an exaggeration.
It's really kind of strange, but I mean, all the levels that they showed like a kind of like an Egypt one. He's riding around on some sort of lion, and they showed that food one and some animated world and a forest one. I think it looks
pimp as
shit.
Yeah, he had if people did not watch, he had a silver suit. He had a silver suit and a hat, and Mario now you can use it as a weapon and as an accessory. He one time threw it and jumped on the hat to get across. I
think that game looks amazing. Mm-hmm. The only thing that's not amazing about it is its release date, in my opinion.
Next year, yeah. Fall. Yeah, which, what do you guys think about the game? Then we'll talk about that release date, too, because that's a little strange. But what do you guys think about just the game in general?
I'm excited for it. Mm-hmm. It looks fun. Definitely kind of wondering about the hat thing, though. I mean, where that's going to play into it, because the whole trailer, there was no mention of the hat, and then they... ended it with their logo, and then all of a sudden the eyes popped out.
Well, there was a bunch of hat at the end, because Bowser threw his hat, and then Mario threw it, and then we saw him throw it at enemies, and he used it. So the last 30 seconds was a bunch of hat, and the hat's even in the fucking logo of the game, too. So, the hat is, huge.
Yeah.
This is a big thing.
That's why I'm wondering kind of how that's going to play into it, because they're kind of doing, the whole thing that they did with the Switch. Here's this great console, and then all of a sudden it's and we have joystick movement. Right at the end, we'll just kind of here you go.
Oh, that's what you think that? You think that's a motion thing to have?
No, I'm just saying that's how they're
it's kind of tacked on.
Yeah, it's just kind of at the end, it's and there's this.
Yeah. Oh, you scared me for saying
no.
You can only use the hat if you break out the Joy-Cons.
You have to get the hat controller.
Yeah, with the sensor bars in it. I will buy that hat.
It doesn't work like a boomerang. No, it hits the wall, falls. You have to go pick it up. It's kind of sucky, but
Taylor, Mario Odyssey, what do you think?
I thought it looked really, really awesome. In comparison to the Wii U's 3D Mario World game, I think this is a huge step up. It looks
that game's fucking sick, though.
It is.
It was alright.
It was alright. Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
Just seeing this, I think it was just like it raised the bar, I should say.
Yeah, fair enough.
It looks awesome. I love the idea of going to different locations and all the different worlds and stuff. I was trying to figure out like what the heck am I watching when New York was happening here, and I see that thing flying in the sky. I'm like, what is this? And then I was not expecting Mario to pop up in the sewers because like the graphics of New York compared to how detailed Mario looked, it stood out very much.
Right.
But I think overall, I think it's going to be a really, really cool game. I think the hat, though, I think that would be so cool if it was just another one of, I think his name is Gad, Professor Gad, or whatever, one of his inventions, because he did, like, Luigi's
You're trying to make a, what is it, cinematic universe and him come back? I don't think he's coming back.
No, I think
so fucking
he's
sick.
so cool. I would love it if this was just another one of his inventions, just to tie in with like the sunshine.
He needs to be used so much.
Nice.
We
have a video for every single Switch from Nintendo Switch presentation. It's just a compilation of Switches.
Yeah, they did a lot for people that didn't watch. Just they snapped to send over everybody. But yeah, my thoughts on the game. This game, if this was around E3, this would be like in the top 3 games that we'd be talking about. This game stole the show easily. This was the best thing they showed. This was a thing that I would never buy this console just for this one game. But this was, if I was buying the console, would make me really happy and really excited. This game, they were so smart with starting off in New York because it's something we've never seen before in a Mario game. Something with him in real world setting. You even had people looking at him like wondering like who he was. And like you said, all the animation levels, the food levels, they look so cool. I don't know, the hat thing's alright, but whatever, it's a gimmick. They do that all the time, whether it's a fucking Luigi's Mansion or Sunshine. Like, they always add a gimmick, I get, but this game looked incredible. This game reminded me of like old school Nintendo. It looked like Sunshine. Like, it gave me that, the N64 5. Like, this gave me vibes of why I used to love Nintendo and what they could be, and that's why the rest of the console or rest of the conference sucked, because after that I was like, oh, maybe now it started that was that turn again where I'm like, oh, this was good, maybe we're gonna get into it again, and it just really dropped off. So that's why I was kind of surprised.
They raised the bar and then
they didn't really. They should have ended with that and then held us with the Zelda thing, because that was high. And then after that, everything else not looked like shit, but didn't look like anything I was interested in, because that Mario game was so good, and I'd love to play it. But yeah, you talked about this, Dylan. Game's not coming out until next fall. Very surprising.
That's a big problem.
Because we talked about this a few times already in the cast. What is their launch lineup? Zelda? Take Zelda out. Wii U game. So, ARMS...
Like, you expect there to be a Mario launch title.
Yeah.
Like,
there always is. 3D... Or,
I don't think
3D World? No, Wii U wasn't. What did we? Wii U just launched with the new. It was like the Wii version of
the 2D side scroller.
Yeah, but
which
even
is
then,
yeah. Like those games are fun still. Like,
oh yeah, they're great. I bought that game.
Like now we have Mario Maker, I guess, so it kind of not necessarily defeats any more of those, but so without a Mario release, like, what the hell? Like,
it's strange. Like it's really strange. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Mario not. As of right now, it doesn't seem like we're getting a Mario game with launch.
I was hoping that we'd get another one of the like side scroller ones.
Yeah, I'd take it. I'll always take it. Those are always fun if they put a little effort, because like the thing with Mario Maker, the people that made a lot of levels just purposely made them as hard as possible, right? So that's why I think there's still a market for regular Mario games, because like they're creating a story.
New Mario games, they can add new stuff and things we haven't seen. They can do a hell of a lot more than that Creation Kit can do. It's great, and it's. I mean, I haven't played it recently, I must be honest, but it's a phenomenal game. But I mean, developers can always do more, of course.
Taylor, anything to add?
I think that like there should always be a Mario game with a Nintendo console. I think that's just a huge kind of like selling point. It's like the tradition for Nintendo. So in this sense, without there being a side-scrolling Mario game, I feel I don't know. Like I feel like either they're going to maybe. They haven't just shown it to us yet, and they will slide one in because they missed that ship has sailed with this conference. But other than that, I think that maybe the other thing that they're going to go for is Mario Maker, and they're just going to do a deluxe, which will have like maybe a story mode in that, but then just a huge expansion onto the making.
They won't do
aspect.
It though. Anytime you see good idea, it's like, oh well, that's out.
So I'm gonna just interrupt before we continue.
Yep, go in.
So it seems like there actually is the $2.99 is American pricing. We are getting it for $3.99.
Canada?
Whoa!
Sucks to be Canadian if you're.
Search Walmart.ca Nintendo Switch comes up as their pricing is $3.99.
Well, I hope that's wrong, but if not, that gives me another $100 not to buy it.
Could be a placeholder.
Another 100 reasons not to buy it.
Yeah, another 100 reasons. Xenoblade 2, we didn't know what it was. Right. I'll say, no interest in the game for me. I never played the first one. Won't play this one, even though it was on the console. What do you think, Dylan?
That's a game that I would eventually like to get around to, the first Xenoblade. I don't know, there's something, it seems like such a, like, you seem so small and, like, insignificant. It seems like such a massive world, and it seems like fun to explore it, and I've heard good things, and it looks like fun, and Shulk, he's in Smash Bros, and I really like him in Super Smash Bros, so there's always that. And I when we were watching the, I guess, trailer for this new one, it does look good. It looks kind of like more of the same, but it just looks better, I guess. And, I mean, I haven't played the first one, so I can't really speak on the gameplay aspect. It's certainly not something that will make me buy the console, just because I haven't even gotten to the first one yet, and I don't know when I will. So I think it looks like a fun game, looks good, and I'll probably watch some streams of it and stuff. But I mean, it's not gonna sell the console for me, right?
Jessica, Xenoblade 2.
I recognize the art style. I was working at EB Games when the first one came out, so I saw it on the reel a lot, but I never actually played it, so I can't really comment. I know it was really popular. I mean, cool.
No date though, too. So has that popped up too at all?
They didn't show a whole lot either, so it could be like a while yet.
Yeah, well, it didn't have a date on the website.
That was the thing with most of these games in this reel. Like when they start showing a bunch of games now, didn't have a date. It was the title, and like we're working on this. Even Sega came out, like we're working on stuff. Even like EA, which was still weird. Like we didn't get like a reel. Which I'm gonna mention this before I forget. They did the fucking thing that Ubisoft did. I'm sorry, but they did the thing where show a bit of the game and someone comes out to talk, or someone talks and shows a bit of the game. They were moving at a really good pace. Yeah. At one point near the middle, just really slogged down, got slow, and like when that EA guy came out, he just talked and no gameplay. Even then, it's just
he's like, we're working on the FIFA.
Yeah, we're happy to be part of Switch, and it was just like, okay, we already know this. Like whoever booked this, like, was not smart. Like, they didn't make it a really snappy press conference. Taylor, anything on Xenoblade 2?
I've heard great things about the first one, like you're saying. I've never played it, but, for all the people that are Xenoblade fans, I mean, congrats.
Shout out to you.
Shout outs to you after you spend your $300, $400.
Plus $8
$300 in the States.
Yeah.
Next game, we had speculated this a couple times. Dylan was hoping for it. We got a Fire Emblem game announced, but with the tagline or the subtitle Warriors.
I think I don't think I was really salty at like anything in the presentation. Like 1-2 Switch looked bad, but like it didn't really make me salty.
It didn't offend you.
Yeah, but Fire Emblem Warriors, that makes me really salty because I've talked about like probably since even some of our very first casts like how much I love the Fire Emblem games, and specifically the one on the GameCube and on the Wii. Those were such good games. Like they had really like sick high definition like cutscenes, and then like just having it like it's a game that's I would say better off handheld, but as a console game like they were so good. Like those are some of my favorite games of all time. But then they slapped Warriors on there, and it's pretty clearly going to be like the next Hyrule Warriors. It's going to be your next Dynasty Warriors game, and I got Hyrule Warriors. And it's just not fun. Like, it gets bland and boring, like, very quickly. And I feel like that's... Like, the Dynasty Warrior games, that's what they were. Like, they're just really redundant and, like, hack and slash, but, like, they're, like, even more boring than hack and slash.
And to be clear, if you didn't see the conference, this is not confirmed. This is just what you're the anime and stuff. But when I saw Warriors, I was like, that seems pretty...
Well, the fact that they called Hyrule Warriors that, and it's been probably 2 or 3 years since that game came out, it pretty much has to be, like, unless... I don't know. I don't foresee it being anything but that, and
me either.
That makes me like really, really disappointed because I'm not gonna buy that, and I was desperately hoping the Wii U would have eventually a Fire Emblem like release on the console because it skipped Wii U like many other games did, and oh man, I'm so salty about that. Like that's really disappointing.
That's why you gotta watch the live cast, ladies and gentlemen. You can see Dylan Muss's pain. Jessica, what do you feel about this? Fire Emblem potentially being a...
Well, Matt's a really big fan of Fire Emblem. So, I mean... I think he probably liked Hyrule Warriors more than Dylan did by the sounds of things. But it definitely, if that's kind of the direction that they're going to take it in, I don't necessarily think they're aiming at the right fan base because I've played Fire Emblem, not enough to be like a huge fan or anything, but I know that Hyrule Warriors was definitely like a completely different end of the spectrum.
Well, yeah, Fire Emblem is a huge strategy game, and like you expect a challenge when you play those games. Hyrule Warriors definitely the complete opposite of that. You just
run around and hit A a bunch, you know. So I mean, it might be a bit of a cool concept, but it's not going to be an $80 game that
it will be.
Well, it will be, but it won't be worth that.
That's how I feel about Hyrule Warriors. It was a great concept, but then I played it and I was just so bored. Like after like an hour or hour and a half, I was just like bored of it.
I would have spent $20 for the couple hours you got out of it, exactly. But I bought Hyrule Warriors like right when it came out.
I think I got it as a gift, so like I can't complain too much because I didn't actually put my money down for it.
Wow.
But someone
gave you that gift.
Someone
could hear this.
Yeah.
Taylor, any thoughts?
I've never played Hyrule Warriors. I always wanted to. I thought it looked.
You can borrow it.
It looked fun. Yeah.
There's a bomb in there.
I'm not playing it.
There's a bomb in there.
It always looked it looked fun.
Toad, so.
But I mean, I never got around to buying
hashtag fun?
Hashtag fun. I'll go with hashtag fun. I never could see myself paying like the full price for it, or even like $40. I didn't want to waste that much money on it, but I mean, it still looked fun.
Shots fired.
I've only played a couple Fire Emblem games on handheld, and I love them. I love the whole like how it's strategy based. I think it's amazing. I haven't played any on console. I've always wanted to, but I was definitely hoping to have something, like you said, for the Wii U, because I feel like that would be where I could make my introduction more into Fire Emblem. And I don't know, when they say Fire Emblem Warriors, I mean, I don't really want it to be like Hyrule Warriors. I think Hyrule Warriors was a good thing, like, in its own, like, keep it like that, but then don't branch it off into other things. Like, what if we get, like, Mario Warriors?
Mario Bros. Warriors. Or
Super Metroid Warriors. Oh, no.
Sequel, yeah, the soccer player one sequeled into that.
It's just so lazy, man.
Wario Warriors.
I think...
Oh, God.
You can't even say that, Nintendo!
Octopath Traveler Warriors.
Yeah. Squid Warriors. So much potential. Arms Warriors.
God. You gotta, I think, as Nintendo, you just gotta stay true to your franchises and your series that you've done. Like, you've got this already awesome franchise called Fire Emblem established. I mean, stick with it. I mean, you can learn a lot from that. Don't just make a slash and pray game.
Slash and pray, I like it.
Other than the game that talked about Travis's touchdown, I don't have much to say about Geeks.
I really want to remember the name of that game.
People lost it on Twitter. I haven't seen the name of it, but it's a big game.
It is. It was like a real, like, I want to say it was a cult following kind of game. Just because it was like a Wii game. I think it was rated M, and it was I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. It's like a fun game. It's really cool.
People lost it. I just like the shout out. I'm going to throw out these games. I have nothing to say to them, just to make it a bit quicker. During Quest 10, 11, they also said Heroes 1 and 2. That Atlas game, or Atlas whatever, looked like some fighting, the Unreal 4 engine game, and that Project Octopath Traveler. Do you guys have anything to say on any of those games? I have nothing to say.
I kind of forget all of them except for the Atlas game. It was like Unreal Engine, and it looked like garbage. Like,
it did not look like Unreal Engine 4.
I will say it had a lot of interesting looking characters, so I'm kind of intrigued.
It looked like a sex party. That's what I thought.
I'm intrigued. I don't think it looked like a sex party.
I've been to many, and that's what they look like.
Alright, well, there you go.
You're in the wrong sex parties are traps.
I'm in the right ones. But I don't want to play video games of them.
Characters looked interesting. I'll keep my eye on it. But I don't even remember the name of that particular game because I don't think it was
in Japanese.
Atlas. Yeah, because Atlas is the company.
I think so.
Atlas was the company. The name was in Japanese. They didn't actually translate it for us.
That translator, he was probably like sleeping.
Octopath Traveler. Anything to say on that, Dylan?
I thought it looked cute.
Octopath Traveler.
Great name. Great name.
Awful name.
Look cute.
Stupid name.
It'd be fun.
Wait, what game was that?
The little side scroller one.
That's I thought that was Shinigami Tensei. Was it not?
No, that was Octopath Traveler.
Yeah. It looked cute. It's not a game that I would... It's like a game I would throw out a 20 at.
That's 20.
If
you won the lottery...
That is the kind of game that you pick up on a Steam sale for $5, because it's like, I've always thought this game looked cool, but, I'm gonna wait.
If you won the lottery, would you buy it?
Maybe if someone had a gun to my head.
That's the new
one. I love that's a new one.
That's going to keep
not only winning the lottery, have a gun to your head, and the guy's dressed as a clown. Like, it's going to continue. Taylor, any of those games, Dragon Quest, you guys have anything to say on those? I don't know.
All
They're
4 of them?
like 500 or 600. It's the next thing.
Shout out you Dragon Quest fans. Great for you. Got 4 games coming your way.
Lucky you guys.
Very lucky.
Taylor, anything to say on any of those games?
You know, I like dragons.
I like dragons.
They're no aliens,
turtles.
but...
They're not aliens, but they're close. Yeah.
I mean, Atlas,
Well, I don't know if that's a game. I just called it. I just put Atlas because I had no idea.
Like, I don't know what the hell was going on in that trailer.
I told you.
There was like a broken down office space or whatever, like a suite, and then there's like flowers, and then there's like this weird dude with glowing eyes, and it was like yellow.
That's me.
That's you, touchdown Travis.
Yeah, touchdown Travis.
I don't know.
Travis touchdown.
I don't know if I'll get into it, but I mean,
you're not even getting the Switch. So.
I'm not getting the Switch. Octopath Traveler.
The Octopath Traveler.
The Octopath.
Fuck that title. Fuck this conference.
Like that game. Actually, I liked it. There's not too many modern day like side scrollers I really play aside from Mario. Like this one I loved how when certain parts it would zoom in and it had a little bit of that 3D kind of aspect to it, but not completely.
But yet you didn't like it when they zoomed in on the Joy-Con.
They zoomed in like 10 times though. They like shoot. Like they really got like super close to it.
They just trying to make it look bigger.
Like
that's
that Joy-Con.
That's a typical male trick. Come on.
That Joy-Con could file a registration order on that camera guard. That's how much he's
a registration order.
Fuck restraining order. Restraining order. Both of them. Well, the big one was what they ended off. They're hinting. They had some fucking sketch with
Sonic.
Sketch with Reggie. Well, I didn't put him in here because we saw him, but we didn't see a game, so I didn't put it in the list. We saw him in
what the fuck, Sega?
And Sega said they were working on stuff. Great for you. And that's when the guy was laughing a lot. The translator was laughing a lot, so he's probably like, they're not working on anything.
They're probably like, we're not working on this. He's like, I should probably switch that. That's not a good thing to say.
Or somebody's like, this is going to be Nintendo 10 years at like the Sony conference. Like, we're working on a Mario game for you guys. We used to have our own consoles. The big one, they had a bunch of sketches, whatever, teasing it. Zelda released the release date, March 3rd, so it's launching with the console. I imagine you get it at the same time as Wii U, so I imagine earlier. Showed a big kind of demo reel. What do you guys think?
You know, good for them. I feel like they needed to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's cool, but
they definitely need it.
All 4 of us can play that game without buying a Switch.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone I saw on Facebook posting about it was posting about how they were going to buy it for Wii U.
Yeah.
That's all I've seen too. And that's what I mean. And don't get me wrong, I've seen people actually excited for the game itself. Even myself, I'm not a big fan of the art style.
Good, yeah.
But like the game looks good. Like you said, the score was phenomenal. Like that got me pumped. That made me want to play that game. Just certain things where he's facing big monsters and whatnot. Like it looked incredible for me. Like art style was standing because I thought I liked that more on Wind Waker. But it looks great. I don't know if I'll get it day one, but no matter when I get it, I can get it on Wii U. I don't need the Switch for it. But the game alone looked great. Jessica, game?
Yeah, I agree. I found it was kind of like a mix between Wind Waker and Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
It's kind of the art style that they went with.
Right.
But I definitely think it was a bad move to release it on Wii U as well. Because I think that's the majority of their sales are going to be eaten up by Wii U.
Well, I still think it's because this game was planned for Wii U, and because they're doing the Switch, like, oh, we got to do both, right? Because technically, Wii U would have been the first ever game without a Zelda game, so...
Yeah.
Well, they did do it with the GameCube going to the Wii as well. They released Twilight Princess on both.
True, yeah.
So it's not the first time that they've done this, but...
Different as they had the hype of GameCube, correct?
GameCube didn't sell that well, though. I don't think.
No.
No, but I think it... Yeah, I guess it didn't sell... It didn't sell amazingly, but it had positiveness about it, though, right? Where Wii, coming off the end, was more like, okay, let's move on. And then we got the Wii. Taylor, what do you feel about Zelda Breath of the Wild?
You know, I would have loved it if they introduced it with some puppets or something.
That's what I was missing the whole conference. The whole conference was done puppets.
Yeah, that's true. That was the main problem. Too much snapping, not enough puppets.
Yeah. That's their new thing. Switch.
I am excited for it. I'm not gonna pay $400 for it on the new console.
$480 because you have to get the game. Remember?
Oh, and tax.
So you're looking at a good
pay for
$1.05.
Yeah, and that's only if you don't want to bother to like get the extra set of controllers or anything.
Yeah,
so, you know.
no kidding. Gosh.
So that'll be. Oh, yeah, that was on the American site too. That $89 or whatever it was. So
it's really $100.
$110 probably.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
I mean, yikes.
You know, at the start of this cast, I was really looking forward to. I was thinking I'd probably go pre-order, but the longer we talk about it,
that's what I feel like they kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Was just saying, and then we finished off with Zelda. I'm like, oh yeah, that was it. Like that was all they had to show. Like it was ridiculous.
For the fans, you guys can see what like the boxes of games would look like.
Oh, they have
That's
the
cool.
limited edition one. Comes
Yeah,
with like the sword.
There's one for $140, and then there's one for $100
Yeah,
too.
the one with 140 is the one that like comes with a sword, and it comes with like a carrying case for something, maybe your Switch controllers.
Here you go.
Comes
The
with a
Legend of
handle.
Zelda Breath of the Wild Wild Master Edition will
Wild
include the
Master.
game itself, a Master Sword, get out of my computer, figure, as well as the Nintendo Switch Sagat Slate carrying case, and a Sagat Eye collection coin, a relic of Hyrule.
What kind of carrying cases?
I don't know,
again?
carrying cases, and the sound selection CD. So you know what? Instead of
Sheikah?
Sheikah, there you go. So instead of paying my $10 on Apple Music, I'm gonna pay $130 for this. Yeah.
So much salt.
I'm sorry, Nintendo has me flustered. So that was it. Overall, Dylan, you wanna we did this. We out of 5. We did this for E3. We'll do this now. We did this for E3. Get a conference out of 5. Give us your overall of the conference, start to finish.
Oh yikes!
And
Put me on the
score.
spot here. All right, so first of all, you know, I feel like there's. It seems like you're like sneaking in.
I'm ready to play 1-2 Switch.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want
Look
to
at her eyes.
I'm not buying it. I'm not
You're
buying
supposed
it.
to look at her eyes. You know.
I think there was a lot of missed opportunities with this. You know, Jessica just reminded me of a game, Captain Toad, that she borrowed. And that game is phenomenal. Why didn't they have a Switch one? It was like a nice $40 game, and I love that game. It was phenomenal. You know, there's just so many missed opportunities. I'm really salty about Fire Emblem. I mean, yeah, it's not confirmed, but like it's called Warriors, so it's pretty much confirmed.
Winner's hoof prints.
Like, there was just nothing. Like this, it felt like dated. It felt like this could have come out like a year ago or something. Like this conference, like it didn't seem like anything was new. I am like, I wasn't, I guess, really excited. Like I didn't think I was gonna buy this before this, but I'm like less excited. Like, yeah, that Mario game was great, but there was just nothing else. Like there was literally nothing else that like brought my excitement up. But like most things just brought my excitement down.
You can buy it at the end of its year when they're like, "Oh, we're going out of business. You want to come get some cheap Switches?"
I'm actually kind of sad because I feel like this, like if that's all Nintendo has, then like I don't know how much longer their lifespan is. I don't know.
That's a good way to
I'm
put it.
trying to like picture who wants to buy this from seeing that, and I feel like most people are just gonna be making fun of it because the presentation itself was a train wreck. I think is a fair way to say it.
I think the first 15 minutes was good though. That first 15 minutes was solid.
Sure, but like it was an hour long, so I mean 45 minutes of it was trash. I'll give it out of 5. I'm gonna give it 0.5 for Mario, and that's it because that was trash. That was a flaming bag of garbage.
Wow.
That was really bad.
Jesus. Jessica.
Nintendo, that was very disappointing.
Jessica.
I know why you didn't do E3 because you have absolutely nothing to show.
They would have got fucking creamed at E3.
Well, considering I'm the least salty person in this room, it seems, I thought that, like, when the presentation ended, I was actually quite excited for the Switch. It was more just when we were sitting here talking about everything and more information was kind of coming to light that I really went downhill. Like, finding out that it's not $299.
It's like when you see that really good-looking person, you go over talking like, "Oh no, there's nothing here."
Yeah, they look good from far away.
Yeah.
Then the alcohol wears off in the morning, and it's it's not the same.
Yikes.
Hey, you want to buy some of my meth? I'm like, not today. Then you never see that person again.
So anyway, continuing on. So the presentation itself, I thought was really good. I like the idea of the 1-2 Switch. I really like Mario. And then, if I was going to buy the Switch, I would just buy Breath of the Wind for it, just because, get that collection going. So for the presentation overall, I would probably say 3.5 out of 5. I did come out of it actually pretty excited. I thought it looked fun. There was definitely a lot of room for improvement. So I was more trying to do it out of 10 and then divide it in half. 5 is a pretty...
Okay, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think we did that for E3 because 10 was just way too much of a spectrum for our conference. It was like, I got a 10. Like, come on now.
So, I definitely, after talking about it, I'm not as excited as I was after the conference for sure, but I think the conference itself was good. They did display a lot of stuff that we didn't necessarily know about. Overall, I don't know, I'm really kind of on the fence about it. Price point is not where I paid the same amount for my Xbox One.
Yeah.
You know, like...
That's a much more powerful machine. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's my overall thoughts on it.
Where was Smash Ultimate Edition?
Yeah, that rumor's not true,
like,
I don't think. It wasn't even the highlight reel,
but they
so...
they should have.
Yeah. Taylor Field.
Well, you know... I was thinking about
for his ratings.
I was thinking about it, and overall, the Switch is not a bad console. I get where they're trying to go with it. And I would definitely...
You say it as if, like, it's 2 years down the line and, like, 5 people bought it, and Nintendo's dead, and, like...
Then I'll pick it up. You know, I'll look on Craigslist, Castanet, whatever, maybe I'll find one on there someday, and, you know... But, I mean...
Why, it's from some shady guy in a trench coat in the corner?
It's Reggie.
He still has his Mario pin though in the trench coat. Hey kid, you wanna buy some death sticks? You wanna get a good call?
Just those controllers. I don't like all the connecting, disconnecting of it. I feel like you're gonna lose them. Then you're gonna have to be out $50 American, then $80 American.
Yeah, that means that's $100 for us.
Like, you're gonna be spending so much money on replacement parts.
Better not lose them. And you're taking them on the go.
Gotta keep them all.
And you are taking them on the go. That's another thing too.
There's gonna be thieves out there.
People are gonna be dancing on the nightclubs.
Oh,
is that your Joy-Con? Oh, it's gone. Thriller hits and it's
no,
over.
That's why you got the wristband again.
Right. I'm going.
Hey, the console comes with 2 of them.
It does. It's true.
The presentation itself, I don't know, like, if I was watching it by myself, I may not have laughed excessively, but I was laughing. I was enjoying myself watching it with you guys, because it was funny. And you guys
check out our Facebook page. If you did not watch it, we have our whole reaction video there. You can hear all the Snipecons in real time. Yeah.
I don't know how I felt about the whole presentation. It just felt like a laugh. Like they did a few things okay. Like when they pulled out Mario and they pulled out Legend of Zelda, I thought those were awesome reveals, but they pulled them out the wrong times. I mean, they pulled a lot of things out at the wrong time.
You have a rating?
My rating, I would give it 1 for Mario and 1 for Zelda.
So a 2 or a 1 and 1? Or is that a 1.1?
I would give it a 1 and a 2.
So a 3?
And a switch off.
So what is that rating?
It's a 2.
You should have said I would give it a 2 and Switch. Come on now.
2 and Switch.
That was about as bad as Nintendo's end presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I came to a good realization when Dylan was talking about Fire Emblem, where I think the Wii happened, big success, I get it, but it wasn't for me. And then Wii U happened, butt of everyone's joke for the past 5 years. You know, people joked about, people have talked about Nintendo. They were neck and neck with Xbox and PlayStation. In the past, they were the console, you know, and this was really the big opportunity. This was the time where everybody that said, hey, they should do this, they should do this, they should do a Fire Emblem game this way, they should do a Luigi's Mansion, they should do this type of console, they should get away from motion. Everything that they should have done, I don't think they really did any of it. Like, all these things that I heard people say, oh, they should do this, they didn't do anything. It is just some weird hybrid of the Wii and Wii U that's a little bit better than the Wii U. Great, it's like, maybe you can take it, console places, whatnot, but like, I still ask why they didn't answer this for me. If I'm just a console gamer, which I am, I would not take it anywhere. Why would I get this over the Wii U other than games? They never stated anything. So to me, there's no reason. It's just they're trying to do something cool and new so they can make us pay and buy new stuff.
It's true. At $400, I'm less likely to take it out, or sort of $500 after tax in a game. Why am I going to take that to the basketball court when it's going to, like, basketball's going to hit the back of it and it's going to smash, and then I'm $500.
Fucking nerds.
But yeah, I felt like this.
That's not actually going to happen because everyone at the basketball court is going to be playing with me.
Exactly.
They're going to all bring theirs.
Their little Joy-Cons.
Like, Mario did look great, but I expected to look great. You know, it's one of these things. I want them to surprise me different. And not just game, just overall. The actual presentation for me, I thought was really, like I said, I thought the first 15 minutes was solid, but the rest was a joke. It got really cheesy, got really lame. The translator thing was off. But that, I don't really hold against it. It was just a funny thing. But the whole thing is just kind of a mess. And it just honestly does feel like I think this is going to be the last console of Nintendo. I'm not even joking. I did think it was going to sell better than Wii U. I think it will sell slightly better, but I'm taking that down much. I think it will be pretty on par, maybe a few more million, but I thought it would do much better. After this, and the launch lineup and everything in between, I don't see a reason that people are going to run out and buy this. You know, I could see people buying this eventually. You know, I was really disappointed in this because, yeah, I had like some salt or disappointment going in, but I was still waiting for them to get me. In the first 15 minutes, they got me. That Mario, they got me. Even with Zelda, they got me a bit, but every other time it was like they broke me with something else bad. I was looking for La La Land. I got Suicide Squad with some things in there, but overall, and for me, I was almost going to go Dylan's road and give it a 0.5 because Mario, but I expect them to do that good. That's their bread and butter. I'm giving it a 0 because there's nothing I take away from it.
You had to one-up me, didn't you? Or 0.5 down.
So at the beginning that you were actually like enjoying and stuff, that doesn't count for anything?
Okay, I'll give it a 0.15 because I like the 15 minutes. I'll give it a 0.15. That's what I'll give it. Still, because if they presented everything well for me, and then the actual console I didn't like in the games, I'd be like, okay, but at least they did good presenting. Or if it was a verse where they were a mess, a translator mess, but the games were great, the hardware is great, then fine. But they, for me, failed on like everything, other than Mario and Zelda, which I would hope they didn't fail on. But who knows? They have before with Samus and Metroid. So yeah, I guess a 0.15 then. That's what I'm giving it. I think this was a mess. I think this is legitimately done with Nintendo. I don't think it's going to sell. I know I have a couple of my friends that when I post the last episode, they're like, you're fucking wrong, blah, blah. I don't care because it's the same people that tell me this. It's the same people that have been buying Nintendo for 10 years. No one knew. Because even with the Wii U, all my friends were already like, fuck Nintendo. When I bought a Wii U, people laughed at me and said, like, why would you spend money on that? I think this is even more so than that. You know, I think it's over. I think they'll still always be a company. They'll produce characters, but I think this is it for console gaming. Maybe handhelds in the future, but I think this can be it. I hope I'm wrong because I want to take another swing at the bat, but I think they're kind of out of touch. So
I think the one closing thing I'll say is they had like Reggie and then I can't remember the other two developers who make Zelda and stuff. They had them at the end, but like they were just in there at the very end, like kind of shoo-in, right? Yeah. It didn't even seem like Nintendo, right? Like it didn't have any. It just had like the CEO guy, who's the new like business guy, who's the new president or whatever, and it didn't even have like the heart of Nintendo, and I think that's why. I'm mostly disappointed, I guess.
Yeah, disappointing night. Let us know if you think this is great.
I'm crying myself to sleep tonight.
No, pretty much. I'm about to cry right now. If you thought it was great, tell us why in the comments. Like, legitimately tell us why. Don't just be like, no, Nintendo's good. It looks great. Tell us why. Tell us our issues, why we're wrong. Taylor, where can they find us on all the interwebs?
Well, after you guys are done crying, you can go onto your internet. Then you can go into the search bar. You can type in Geek vs. Space Podcast. You can find us there on Facebook, especially. Get those likes up. And then after you're done on Facebook, you can switch
over to Twitter. Most importantly, go to geekverspodcast.com.
There was so much disappointment in that look.
Just
he was probably like, Taylor's going to do it. Don't do it.
Most importantly, geekverspodcast.com, because two things, you can find everything there, from YouTube to Twitch to SoundCloud to iTunes, SoundCloud, the whole shebang. I know I said SoundCloud twice. But then most importantly, we have a new thing started up. Taylor created a nice new page, Geek vs. Gauntlet. We have a multi-week tournament started last week. For all you Nintendo fans, first week of tournament was Super Smash Brothers
Melee for the Nintendo GameCube, which had a handle on it.
You could carry it.
That's the best thing for the conference was this podcast. This was a lot of fun.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I like bring my GameCube a lot of places for tournaments and stuff. I've never used the handle.
Well, now you look at a different life.
No. Oh, I've definitely used the handle.
I just put it in a bag. Like, I don't know. I don't use.
Yeah, but don't you like use the handle to put it in the bag?
I don't think so.
Think about it next time.
Like when they said there's a handle on it, I was like, I kind of forgot there was a handle on it.
But yeah, Geekverse Gauntlet, if you like Nintendo, the first week was Smash Melee, the next week it's myself competing against Secretary and Goldeneye Nintendo 64, then we got Mario Kart 64, these guys, lots of Nintendo the first round. Yes. They're all for 2 points. Go there and you see all the rankings, the rules, everything. We worked really hard. It's lots of fun, trust me. If you're not even a gamer, not a movie trivia, you'll like it just because it's a good time. There's really, surprisingly, you think we scripted, there's a lot of close matches. The majority of the tournament was all really close matches. It's surprisingly good. It makes for good television, so check that out. Mm-hmm. We're going to be back. We're going to be back next week, but super early. The episode's probably going to drop on a Monday because I don't want to be too outdated. It's our 2017 predictions. It was supposed to come out this week because the Switch is going to push it, so it's probably going to drop really early. So usually work drops Thursday, Saturday, like Sunday. Your Geekverse episodes drop like Monday or Tuesday. So early. You got Spider-Man Retrospective next week. Check out his Geeks Creed. Ruben, I shouted out. Bastard. Check out Rant River Pete's come back. Netflix film sure will be coming back. Lots of great stuff.
We need to do one of those.
We do. X-Men Reboot, fan cast, lots of fun. Me and Kyle did one. Thank you very much for tuning in. Whenever we're back, I promise you will not be boring like the Nintendo Switch panel.